Hey everybody, Kyle here for I guess the beginning of season 2 of the AnecDotes podcast featuring me, Kyle, and
me, Sheever. Surprise. Now I don't know if the previous episode will have had 11 or 12 episodes because I could still release the other one under episode 1, or we could already have 2 episodes for episode 2.
Who knows?
Who knows, really? So, over the previous episode, every time we had a topic, very specific topic that we talked about, and I asked you earlier, what do you want to talk about? And then one of your reactions was, "Oh, we'll just talk."
Yeah.
You want to just talk?
Sure. Well, we had I mean, there's a lot. I feel like the problem is we're trying to keep things succinct for you guys because I know that all you listeners have the attention span of a goldfish. So this goes more than 12 minutes, and we've probably lost you around 3. So we got to try and keep it snappy.
Yes.
But deep topics often require a lot of breaking down, and it's easy to get distracted and talk for hours and hours.
So you might, if you have been a faithful listener, then you might be hearing stuff that we've already touched upon, but we'll always have different things to say. And to be honest, there was so much to talk about every topic, and we try to keep it short and snappy every time, but that does mean that we might have, sold some issues short.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but we'll cover them now.
Yeah, I figured to at least get things going, we'd start with a light topic, something easy and fun. Because this month, May, is actually Mental Health Awareness Month.
Okay, very easy and fun indeed.
Very fun.
Yes.
So I figured we could just discuss, I don't know, I guess personal, but even generational challenges at the moment with burnout, with this culture of kind of glorifying work and working harder and always accomplishing more, combined with being bombarded by photos and videos and advertisements about how all of these other people that you do or do not know are doing these incredibly amazing things. It's very easy to feel like even if you're you're inadequate, even if you're doing great by conventional standards.
So let's split that up into 2 topics, right? Because that is actually, there's one portion where there's a lot of people that love, I worked 80 hours last week. Wow, that is so great, so good. Or I worked 12 hours yesterday or something. And one side is wow, you worked 12 hours. That's really, good on you for working so hard. But another part, if you're an employee or if you're a person, caring about other people's health, you shouldn't want to have them work 12 hours because that is not going to bring out the best of you. That's not good for your health.
Yep.
And that is that is glorified, as you say. And on the other side, if you look at people's Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or whatnot, most people only highlight all the good parts.
Yep.
You see people having fun and smile and having drinks, and what you don't see is the struggle that comes with working 12 hours a day.
You don't see that even that it's difficult. I think the burnout specifically for anybody that creates stuff, it's tough, and you've got to constantly. And I realized this quite recently, where because I'm working in a space where I'm effectively bullshitting, right? I'm socializing on camera with my friends.
Okay, you gotta, you're doing hard work, and you're a technical analyst of Dota 2.
Sure. Yeah, thank you.
Don't undersell it,
Yeah, I know. I have a habit of doing that. But the point is, I analyze how I speak, how I come across, whether I said things in the right way. Effectively, what's pretty damn close to social anxiety, but it's professional because really that's what your job is. It's to look at how you presented yourself and your ideas and try and improve upon it. And I realized that was kind of leaching into my just everyday encounters. And the benefit of working with, say, you, Sheeves, right, is that we'll talk about, hey, how did we do? And you are actively trying to help me have a good conversation, right?
Yeah.
In the wild, at a bar, in a supermarket, or just really on the street, if you're talking with a bunch of strangers, they're not incentivized to help you look good, to help you, to be interested in what you're saying, to give you the respect of just listening. And it really weirded me out in some ways because it was wow, am I not good at talking? I felt uncomfortable. I felt this weird anxiety that I hadn't had since high school a couple weeks back because I was just out in the wild, right? And I realized it's just because I've got better people, not better people, but this is easier because you've we're aligned in our interests, but most people are not.
No, that's true. But how does it tie into?
I don't know.
There's all these things in your mind. You just can't focus on one. But that is, I mean, that's the whole point, right? There's a lot of things that everybody always wants to talk about, and you can only do so much, and you should only want to do so much. And if you work too much, that means that you work all the time. That means you're on all the time.
Yeah.
And that kind of everything reinforces each other, where it comes to a melting point where at some point you're done. You can't anymore.
Yeah.
The burnout.
And it's hard because like we make pretty decent money doing what we're doing, right? But you still need time off. So let's say you turn down an event and you spend that week doing nothing. You feel bad. You feel like I feel like
no, yeah.
I could have just done that event and been paid very well for my time, and instead what did I do? I was useless. I was at my home doing nothing. But that's necessary to like keep your sanity. Like burnout is a real thing, and you don't realize it's there until like you're lying in bed, unwilling to go do your responsibilities, and it feels like you're just done.
So there's a lot of self-employed and unemployed people that have experienced the same type of feelings, where if you're unemployed, you have to, at least in the Netherlands, you have to continuously be looking for a job, otherwise you don't get some unemployment help.
It's similar in the US. You've got to prove it as well.
Yes, you got to prove that you've applied, and you got to basically constantly be applying and be busy with applying for jobs. No matter the result, if you don't succeed, sure, that's fine, but continue trying. That also means that anything that you do when you're not applying, can you go on a holiday then? Feels, but you won't feel like you're really on a holiday, because you're constantly in the back of your head like, okay, I should be really doing this. You're never off. You're always having that in the back of your mind, even if you're not applying. Let's say you buy a new photo camera because you've had it a long time coming, and then you're in your head trying to justify you getting a new photo camera even though you're not working, and it's I don't know, it feels bad. And the same thing goes for if you are self-employed. It's the same pressure.
It's eerily similar to just everyone in esports, right? Where it's fun, job's great, don't get me wrong, but it's tough because there's always this sense that like you're on the clock always.
Yeah.
Because you need to be mindful of what you're doing. Like, if you go a week without being contacted for something professional, you're just like, well, should I be reaching out? Like, should I be emailing people? You got to be thinking about,
should I be streaming? Should I start getting different avenues of income somewhere?
Yeah, and like, what would those be? And the big problem with, I think this is where it gets into like our generation and just people that were kind of born and raised, came up with the internet, and have now access to effectively limitless knowledge and potential and a view of what your life could be, right?
Yes.
There's this excellent allegory in The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, right? And in it, she describes how she feels like she's sitting under this fig tree, okay? And every fig represents a different career, a different path. In this one, she's an artist. In this one, she's a housewife married to some like suave Italian banker. And in this one, she lives alone but has a salon. Like, you get my drift, right?
Yeah.
She I believe she had different sexualities, different numbers, like kids,
Tons
no
of
kids,
figs.
professions, blah blah blah. And as she sits there under the tree, waiting to pick one, they wither and die and fall, representing possibilities that are no longer able to be gone after. And that's like, the problem is not a fig tree anymore. We're wandering through this orchard, and there's a billion different types of plants and trees, and there's so many things that you care about, but not nearly enough time to care about all of them. And what most people do, what I find myself doing, and part of why we're doing this damn podcast is just to do something.
Yes.
Because it's overwhelming. You're like, wow, I don't know what to do. I guess I won't.
Yep. Guess we'll make a podcast instead.
Like,
basically, yeah. No, that's a problem, right? Because we're talking about this problem and this concept that is there, but how do you fix it, or how do you not even fix it, because that would be a world problem solved that we could fix that. But at least how do you deal with that? And I wish there was a straight answer, but I don't think there is. I think you know, we're one of the figs, right? Even if you're
Yeah.
still having loads of figs of your own, we have figs that we haven't, like we are figs that other people want to get, but they are not able to get them, or you know, they don't take that first step or something. But at some point we did pluck a fig. Can we stop this analogy?
I feel like I kind of fell into it. Like I'm not a determinist.
You did at some point plug a fig that was professional Dota 2 player.
But it just sort of happens. Like that's the thing, is that life just happens.
Okay, so that is step one, right? That is something that you're saying on one side, some stuff just happens, right place, right time, luck.
Yeah.
But there's also stuff, there's only so much that can happen, and then at some point you do have to make steps for yourself and actually make choices.
Luck is opportunity plus preparation, though. So you can be prepared for a variety of different careers and
100%.
jobs. It's just a question of which one sort of happens to fall in your lap.
No, this is something that it ties back to esports again. It's easy because we're talking obviously in our references, but if you are someone that wants to be an interviewer, analyst, host, whatever, you gotta have the luck to actually get a shot, but you do have to be prepared to, when you do get that shot, if you do get lucky to get that, you gotta be ready to nail it. And that it's not just for esports, but that goes for every luck shot you get.
You've got to have the belief you're gonna nail it before you do, almost. Like it's such a weird thing, because you've got to be self-critical and also confident that you're going to kill it. It's this double think. We talked about that in previous seasons, I'm sure.
No, it's true. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Fake it till you make it, and at some point, if you ask people if they know what they're doing in any high-functioning job, it's like, well, maybe the first year I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I hope nobody's going to figure out that I've got no clue.
Dude,
but people think that all the time, no matter what level you're at.
Can I just state for the record, like, what's wild is, like, we're all the same, okay? Like, I know people much smarter than I am, much wealthier than I am, much more famous than I am, but we all struggle. The same goes for people I used to work with, people that are my friends from back in the day, you know, that have, like, you know, 3 kids in a blue-collar job. We're all lost. We're all just faking it, pretty much. No one knows what the fuck adulthood means.
And if you tie that back to the social media posts, a lot of the people seeing smile in there, part of it is real, 100%. Yeah. But it doesn't mean that there's also not a portion that is not smiling or that is working hard. I guess the art of it all is, and also for our job, is to make everything seem effortless. But nothing is effortless, because we need to, like, you need to put in effort, or at least personally I do, to do a good job while making it seem natural and effortless, and like anybody can do.
And there's so many jobs, like every teacher has got to do that, every doctor, every parent has to be mindful of their emotions and how they come across to the people in their environment. And that's like, it's just tough. It's a tough ask, especially when, again, we're bombarded with all these things you could have done with your day that wasn't what you did, what you were in a way forced into. Because very few of us, including myself, really, I don't have the freedom to just decide. I could say, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to go do something else. But it'd be foolish of me to think that I could just walk into something better, that I could just reinvent my life overnight. And, you know, in reality, I could, right? Anyone could.
Yes.
But it's terrifying and it's scary, and you don't know if a year or two later you'll end up in a better place. It's just kind of, again, you're rolling the D20 again and hoping you get something higher than your last.
That being said, though, every change does start with just a single step. So if anybody does want to, you know, do something radically different, sure, that can be your end goal. But to get there, it's not going to happen overnight. You do need to take one step at a time and just think, you know, little steps. We're reaching the end of our set time that we're going to do these things. So how do we tie all this back to how we started with avoiding burnout and making, like with the 14-hour work days, or just the feeling that you constantly need to be working?
How about like a couple solutions or like coping mechanisms? Bear in mind, this is from a guy that will eventually write a book titled "Please Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It." And I know these things, and it's still hard to implement. We all know the tools to help ourselves, but some of my favorite. I'll be quick. My go-to line: you don't have to do something with your life; just do something with your day. From there. Okay, what do we do with our day? We don't do 0, okay? If you make sure that every single day you live, you do something that makes your day not a zero. You improve yourself, right? I'm not saying be more selfish, but like if you're really in a rut, okay, I promise if you shave, if you clean your room, and you take a shower, you will feel better.
Dude, showers. I mean, we can talk about that for like not just showers, but like health and mental health and self-care. That link, we can talk about that in our next episode as well, because I'm totally down to talk.
It's funny. It's all. I think it's been a meme at a point. Like at every, especially for men, right? Like if you, the first step of like I'm gonna get my life together is the picture of this guy in the mirror shaving, because it's just like a representation so that you care about how you're presenting yourself today.
Let's wrap up this episode and we can talk about that one next if you want.
What? Shaving?
No, yeah, shaving. No, just self-care.
Self-care?
In all facets of life.
Okay, that works. That's cool. We can come up with activities and stuff, and then we could have people write in about like, hey, here's stuff you could do if you're like wanting to do stuff.
All right. You know what? Let's end with that. People that have been listening, we've posed a couple problems, a couple of things that people struggle with. How do you deal with these struggles? Do you experience these struggles? Maybe we're just the odd two as well, you know? We never know. So let us know what you do and how you have felt found a way to deal with everything. And we'll look forward to reading that and perhaps discuss it on another episode. Sounds good?
Yeah, and yeah, cool.
All right, well, thanks for listening.
Yeah,
like, subscribe, follow, all that jazz at SheeverGaming, at Kyle, Keeping It Kyle. And
new Disney series coming out
March
2075.
All right, well, with that being said, bye-bye.